This is the Polypod. This is the Saxon Chronicles, as we all know. So I've got two special guests with me tonight. I've got my co-host Blake Rosenberg, and co-hosting as a guest is Mr. Sean. So, Mr. Blake, you want to be a Jew and say hello?
What's up, guys?
And my good friend Sean. So he's the Prime Minister of the Northern Republic. So it's like the British people, I guess you could say.
All right.
And they're basically the like I say, the topic is Saxon, really. So I mean, who wants to start me off? I don't. It's a bit of a. I think that's a bit of a sort of missile, isn't it? Really, Sean.
I think we should do like a first time you interacted with Saxon, because I remember my first day on Rival Regions. I actually joined, and there was a global chat or global argument going on with Saxon and Ryan Belhadge. And Saxon said that I would rage quit within 7 days and that I'm a nobody. I think Saxon's disappeared and I'm still running a nation. Thank you very much.
My first time was watching you two argue in global chat, and I had no idea what was going on. Unfortunately, and I just saw every time like he got on, people would start like insulting him. Now I know why, but and I would like stick up for him because I didn't think he deserved it at the time. But now looking back, it's just like, dude, the dude deserved that more. But he messaged me like not too long after that, right before the fall of the U.S., and he was just like, "Hey man, there's a spot open in Lord for you," and I was like, "Cool, I'll join."
Ooh, bit of lag there, bit of lag. I hope it's not my end and it's your end. But so my first time that I ever interacted with Saxon, like first time I ever properly interacted with him, let's say. I mean, I'm not going back through the messages to find them, but the very first article I posted, it was something like, it was just some random crap. Like it wasn't like everyone else's thing that's like, oh, I'm writing the new, the first article, upvote it so I get gold. It was a decent article. It was like new leader on the horizon or something. And then I ended up joining Sean and just let him be leader all the time. Like whatever. It doesn't matter. I didn't really let him. Very, very, very good. Yeah, no, I'm just no. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Hang on, it's not quite like that, is it? Yeah, no. He's a really good leader. So it's not something that I've ever considered ever wanting or anything like that. So, as far as it goes, new leader on the horizon, he said that my article was trash, boys. He said my article was trash. And now look at me. Look at me now, Saxon. Who's trash now, Saxon? Huh? I hope you're listening to this and you're crying in the corner. I'm joking. I love you really, dude. Honestly, I hope you're all right and all that. I swear someone like Kanye wrote an article. Well, no, as a human being, I hope he's all right. As a human being, because you don't wish
you
don't
even in the hospital or anything like that.
Yeah, I know, and it definitely it is
all
like
I want to know is if he paid the $100 billion debt. He put a bet on with what was the guy's name? I think he was called Nate or something. Was like his right hand man at the time, and he bet him $100 billion that I would rage quit within 7 days. I need to know if Saxon paid his debt. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters.
Him paying things? No. You're dreaming if you think he'll pay something.
Saxon, I mean, the only person that can give him a bill is a waiter, isn't it? What the hell? Like, who's he betting with? He's got, like, he said he had loads of money and said he was going to buy Taiwan, and he never did. He just left.
Dude, he never had loads of money.
I don't believe he ever did. Like, he was always acting like he had loads and loads of money, and I just thought he used to scam people or something.
Yeah, that was how he came about it. That and being paid off by the Russians.
During the whole Rival Regions aid thing that he was trying to do, where he was getting people to write articles and all that, saying why they need funding. He was going to fund like 15 trillion apparently, and he was sitting there asking Jens BBE and other Lord members to help him out with all that. And I was just like, if you're supposed to have all this money, why are you doing this?
There was that article that went up that showed, I don't know if it was just Lord members, but it was this round table thing, and it was showing all the members photoshopping the bank balances and stuff to make it look like they had trillions more than they actually had.
Oh, that was during when there was that fake WikiLeaks thing.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, this dude, his name is Murph, and he was trying to Photoshop his thing, and he did it really poorly. And I was like, dude, you got to use your color drop tool and go around that, because I can clearly see.
Oh, is that
it's,
you? I
know,
remember that comment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never like Photoshopped anything like that because I just don't reveal, what I got and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I told him to fix it up and everything, and then people were just like, "Oh, they Photoshop everything, blah blah blah," and I was just like, I'll just run with it, I guess.
My theory is still that Saxon is female. That's my theory. I watched the way the messages went and the just the wording of the message and stuff, and I am adamant that the person behind Saxon is female.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a female personality.
I still give him a garden shit for marrying him in game.
Oh my god! Is she here?
Was
Is she in the? She's not in the live lounge at the moment. No, but
it's like 5 p.m. for her, and I think she's got an exam she's got to do.
So I'm just trying to scroll back through some of the articles to see if I can find something, but there's nothing. There's like literally nothing. I think he might have been. Because I'm searching Saxon in the articles, and he's like his name's popping up in a lot of things apparently, but nothing is his.
What was funny was that I got when he abandoned Lord, I got the message accidentally sent to me, which was his offer to move into a position within Grand Celtic. It was to take up advisor of English speaking players or something. The next day, he's abandoned Lord, he's left Taiwan, and he's back in the UK, sitting beside Watman and Grand Celtic.
No, I think he's deleted his account.
I got the PM before him. No, it's
he
still
actually
there.
put that out in Global.
Did he eventually put it out? Well, I got the PM before he even got it. That was kind of amusing.
He changed his name, because I swear to God, I can't find any of his articles at the moment.
No, it's still there. I seen it the other day there.
Anyone chuck me a link to his profile so I can go through his articles?
You can't search on PC version. Hold on.
Oh God, that was so funny though. He made a big deal out of him being advisor and like Prince of Taiwan and all this, and like a week later he's inactive, not governor anymore, and he is essentially been thrown out from being inactive in the Conservative and Unionist Party.
It was the only thing that I regret, or not I regret personally, but it was only a couple of weeks or a week or two before he actually quit the game that people finally started standing up to him. And he would leave chat every time because he just couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand people not siding with him and, stroking his ego for him. I just wish that people had acted like that with him from the very start.
Oh, like the day we had our huge fight in Global, he just wound up just telling everyone shut up, all this shit. I was getting so weak because he started ignoring me in Global because everything I was saying was, essentially true. Like he had no good leadership qualities. If he shouldn't lie to his party members, especially about he told everyone essentially, he owed us 28 trillion in total, and that he was still getting paid every week by BG. And I think it was Jin's BBE. He's like, "Oh, I'll just take my money now," and Saxon essentially said no, and it was just like, we all saw that coming.
Well, but I don't know. I think the problem that I always had with Saxon is that he just hated me. I don't know why. I never even did anything to him. Like he just hated and hated and hated me.
Oh, if you're not sucking his dick, he doesn't like you.
Is that what it was? Yeah. It's just because I wasn't interested in being his little
exactly.
Dog, like
you weren't trying to stroke his ego.
Yeah.
Anyone that wasn't in awe of this so-called power of his, or anyone that wasn't willing to be his groupie, was an enemy of Saxon.
Yeah, the minute before I got through out of the Lord Conference, Jin's BBE, he sat there and he asked Watman for governorship of Taiwan because Saxon was inactive at that point. There was it was 3 weeks of development. That 3 weeks no development happened. All that, And so Jens BBE, being the stand-up guy he was, now my MOE, he actually, went up to Watman and asked him, can I have governorship? Because, Saxon was inactive. So he comes back, Saxon pops into the Lord chat, and he's just, hey, I'm throwing up blood, all this bullshit. And so Jens BBE was just like, hey, I hope you're feeling better. I asked for governorship in your absence, and the dude just gets historically pissed. Like, historically pissed. And he just starts talking to dude like a dog. And, Jens BBE was the first, like, Lord member, if I'm not mistaken. So, he's also my friend, and I'm not going to let any of my friends get talked down to without me saying something about it. So I was just, I got enraged. And I was just like, dude, don't crucify the dude because he's trying to do the right thing, yada, yada, yada. Then Saxon comes back at me and it's just like, don't question my authority. Don't question anything I say, yada, yada, yada. If anyone has any sort of excuse or any sort of reason as to why this is okay, I'll kick you out. And I was just like, it's not an excuse. It's a legitimate reason. And then he was just like, don't question my authority. He kicks me, and I laughed so hard because like most of the members that are still in that chat are chief members now because they just hate the dude. And yeah, it's kind of funny. Like all the former Lord members that were loyal to him are now in chief, and we're actually doing great things in the AF.
Do you know what? Do you know what took the biscuit, shall we say, for me? It was even after he realised that actually what FSP was doing over there was actually working, and that we were gaining ground and making headway.
They're pulling us around like on a leash.
Yeah, like he admitted it in private, but like that's the thing, mate. He'd never admit it in global or anything like that. He'd never give any credit for it or anything because fact of the matter is, right? Like if anyone is more influential than him, then he hates it. He can't stand it. Like, the only one person that he'd let be more influential than him is Robert. And well, I mean, Robert's no longer around, and I imagine Watman's just not on board with that kind of attitude that those guys, the kind of culture that they were running, the round table, and his little, because essentially what you had was a little secret society where there was a bunch of influential players in a private conference that were trying to manipulate the way that the game was being played by people. And I just thought it was wrong, like they were it was like that thing, is it repulsion of new players? I think it says in the rules it's kind of akin to repulsion of new players, like telling people one thing when the reality is another.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's happened a lot.
If you look at the people that he had, though, the amount of people, like this round table and stuff that he had, the original round table, by the end I'd stopped even caring about what he was doing. But he had the round table, and they were meant to be influential players, and they were supposed to be people who held positions. If you looked at the ranking of them and the stats of them, the people that surrounded Saxon were fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing powerful about them. What they'd done was they ran about with a BG badge behind the profile picture, and that was what they thought made them powerful, because they had these Russians backing them up because they knew how to suck Russian cock better than anyone else.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it just got to tickle the balls a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the other thing, is that, the reason why FSP was always kind of, fighting and up in arms is because we didn't feel that we were actually given like the opportunity to play the game properly. And that frustrated me quite a lot, because I really like this game. And it's like to me, when FSP was fighting and then we got our independency, it was like getting that new level on the game. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody get that? Like you're kind of leveling up to, you're unlocking a new part of the game or whatever.
So I'm reading comments here. Sean is Scottish as fuck. It's like, what the fuck did you expect? Fucking half Scottish or something? Maybe
there is no half measures with the Scottish accent, my
friend. I'm sorry. I'm a bit too Scottish for the podcast.
Yeah, sorry, Sean, mate. You're gonna have to, Thanks
Good
for
day,
coming
good
and all
people
that.
of rival regions.
Yeah, you can't even put on an English accent.
I know, I
like-
just can't do fuck all.
You can't- I'd love to see like a Scottish impersonationist. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
No. It's all that shit, cheap Hollywood film crap. It's like some guy trying to pretend to be Scottish but sounds like a mixture of Egyptian and Irish or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not nice.
Well, what I'm thinking is we'll see if anybody else wants to tell us their experiences. I'll give them the role and they can.
Oh,
they can
dude,
let us know.
Jens BBE. He was the first Lord member.
Jens, do you reckon you could do a little piece for us? Are you there? You listening? Yeah,
Yeah,
typing?
he's listening.
Yep. All right, let's go.
Let's get him
go.
in here.
All right, here we go. So, we'll unserve and mute. You should, if I give you the correct role. There's a bunch of roles here. You'll have to excuse me. All right, so you can try and give that a go. You should be able to talk now. I've set up the permissions correctly. In fact, wait. How about now? Jens, you with us? You alive? You alive? Jens? Jens?
Oh, Jens.
Oh, Jenny, baby. Jen's babe.
I guess we.
Jen's babe.
Oh.
That's what his name is. Jen's babe. Let me jump on
it means
Discord.
bang
mob.
bang
Okay.
early.
Okay. Is it a different account? Are we gonna have to verify you?
You're
Oh
holding up
no,
the
it's the same account.
podcast.
I guess
didn't.
we're
No,
gonna
I'm
like
not
edit
breaking
this little
anything.
part out.
I didn't break anything. I promise. I didn't. Who runs the Wyoming lottery, by the way? I need to at that guy right now. What's his name? Who runs it? Somebody
Is
at
it
him for
Iron
me.
Patriot?
Is it Iron
Yo.
Patriot that does it? There he is.
Oh, there we go, Jens.
There we go.
What's happening, boys?
Not much, man. Not much. So what's
Alright.
Tell us, what's your first experience with our good friend? Apparently, according to Kanye West, looking in the articles, dearly departed Saxon.
Rest in pieces.
Rest in
Just to-
pepperonis.
Just to clarify, I wasn't the first member of Lord. There was a few before me, but eventually they had left, so my name would have been at the top of the list next to Saxon. So eventually, people just looked at me as the first member of Lord.
Yeah. You were kind of like the most influential person after Saxon, really, weren't you?
Most probably. I think one comment that you did make about kids running around with the BG badge behind them, that kind of made me laugh. There probably was a few of the members doing that at the time.
I think you had one, did you not?
Yeah, I had one,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
I wasn't a kid running around the school playground with a BG.
I did. I had it too.
So what was your first ever experience? When did you like come to meet him?
My adventure with Saxon started. I messaged Dudley because I was very interested in joining BG ranks at the time. I kind of went through that whole palaver with BSP or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
Fucking BEP. Fuck's sake.
BEP.
This is
That's
getting
the one.
worse. Saxon and BEP, man.
So yeah, that's where I kind of started. I jumped in the game around that kind of time, and we had obviously gone to war with the BG. After a few days of that, I'd kind of realized that the leadership behind it wasn't really good, and that all fell, that all crumbled. So from that, I thought, look, I'd rather learn the game behind experienced players than follow any English leader that's just going to make me waste resources anymore. Bearing in mind that it would have been nice to follow the FSP. They got some good leadership, by the way. But anyway, so that happened. I messaged Dudley about, look, I want to join you lot. Where should I go? What should I do? And he said either join Murad, the Liberal Party, or join Saxon. At that time, Saxon was probably a bit more active, making a bit more noise. Murad being Russian or whatever language he speaks, it doesn't really help. So yeah, I preference towards Saxon, and that's where my journey with Saxon started.
Okay. That's all good. That's all good.
And where his
Alright.
hatred of me began.
Yeah. No, there was.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
That's the thing. I remember Jens from when I first started. Like I remember specifically saying to him, in private messages. Now I'll say this till my face turns blue. I tried to get him to join FSP for ages, but I guess I kind of understand why you were cautious not to now, because you saw the BEP thing all go messed up, and then you saw FSP, and you're just like, oh wow, it's just going to be the same thing again. They're gonna, they're gonna flop in the end and not actually get anywhere. And I suppose after that, you can't really, you got to save face, haven't you, lads? You can't really turn around and be like, oh right, well I'll join seeing as you won. It don't look right, does it? I get that. But
Yeah, that's pretty much the predicament I was in.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, like, if I would have known that, there would have been some good leaders behind it, I probably would have made a different decision at the time. But one sec. Wait. But yeah, I think at that time the best choice for me was to follow some experienced people, which is why I thought, fuck it, I'll go and join BG. They're fighting for England. I want to fight for England, and they seem to be the most experienced people around here.
Yeah, definitely, and that's one of the things.
And now you're American.
As long as you're still spelling colour with a U, I don't mind. It's fine.
Well, I mean, fucking hell, when you're typing BB codes and
mate.
There's no U in it, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, that's true. When you're always typing in like American forums or in Google or something, and it always corrects you anyway. It's like they're trying to phase us out, man. You ain't never gonna phase us out, man.
Oh, fuck 'em.
All right. Anyway, like, has anybody else got any stories that they want to tell? Do you know what? What about Jens? Jens, are you still around? Are you still in there? Let me have a look, see for his name. Jens still around?
Oh, I think he left. He may have left.
I think he left at the start because he thought he was meant to be on.
Yeah, I'll get him back. Where's he gone? No, it's Jay, isn't it?
I've just been told on another Discord channel that I'm a posh drop because I'm not willing to speak how I would normally speak. I've told them I'm trying to be polite so everyone can understand me.
Yeah.
He says I should go full Scots on your ass.
Oh,
The podcast won't know what's hit it.
No. I've already had the conversation with him before, and I told him it's supposed to be PG, and he's like, mate, I can't do it. So we came to a negotiation, didn't we? We butted heads. We horns and shit. But in the end, we had to agree that it's just not going to be PG, and everyone was warned of that at the beginning anyway. So don't cry and whinge, but I'll try and bleep out as much as I can. But if I miss it, then that ain't on me, because I'll tick the box. The box, the 18. This has got content in it which you shouldn't watch. Don't bleep. Bleep. Don't bleep the bleep. Yeah, there he is. Here he goes. Oh no! Don't start swearing. Come on now. Let's be respectful. All right, Jens. I'm gonna take away that role and mute you now. But I'm gonna check on someone else, and we'll go from there. Nice one though. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Refill my stuff, gents.
Yeah. Where's my boy? Where is he at? Come on, come get. Where's he? Is he in the? He's not in the channel. Why is he here?
He said, "Give me 5 minutes." Apparently.
5 minutes. All right. Okay. We can find something to talk about for 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, let's quickly have a quick discussion about Northern Republic politics. Then we spoke briefly.
You mean the Northern Monarchy?
Yeah, the North. Whatever you want to call it. But let's see the chat go absolutely insane. Because
let's actually get some truth out, because I'm on a 2-day ban here, so I can't say shit about it in rival regions.
All right, so if anybody's got any questions, at Sean, and I'm sure he'd love to respond in the most Scottish accent that he can.
Oh, he wanted to roast me about it. Here we go. Let's get the question.
the Northern Republic is now the Northern Monarchy.
I cut him off before he got his chance. I'm sorry. I guess I killed that one. How north are you? Wow, about as far
Old
north.
enough that I sound like this.
Why are you becoming?
Jesus.
Jeez.
Nice. Why are you becoming a dictator? You voted for it. Jesus. Hint of real life. I walked into NSFW one day. I've never been back again. That was awful. Made fun of your stats. I've made fun of plenty of stats, mate. When you've got stats like mine, you're allowed to make fun of stats. It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Once you get a stat up to 200, mate, that's when you can start boasting about it. And I can only just do that. Sean's like mad levels. He's like 200 everything or something stupid like that.
Oh no, I abandoned my education. 300 strength, 300 and something strength, but I abandoned education at like 110. Am I allowed to answer these questions? Like that, Jats's
Yeah,
question.
go
Yeah,
for it.
crack on.
It's arse every time. Yeah.
That's it is.
Question. God, who is Phoenix, by the way? That guy's got an obsession with me.
It's finally got
Don't
your
we?
attention.
Clearly.
If you missed any questions, just repeat them, because obviously it's going to be difficult to scroll that up and down and stuff.
Oh God. Just fucking near from the
Hey,
love
we've got
eyes.
ourselves a nice little relationship blossoming there. Lazy
Yes,
Danu
yeah.
and Phoenix. So at least he's going to be off your back, eh, Sean?
Oh, I know. Right, no, but whilst we've got some time waiting on Jens to come over, the whole dictatorship monarchy thing, everyone or anyone who plays Rival Region should know that dictatorship needs to be passed to go into a monarchy, which is our ultimate goal. Yeah, go love Nathan Watson, do that. But the idea behind it is that we are sick and tired of immature troll obsession parties who are constantly trying to open borders, impeach leaders who have been voted in, and other immature childish shit, basically. Monarchy
by the
will
way,
be run
you're
as a
welcome
democracy. For what?
You're welcome for getting rid of Mao.
Oh
yeah,
no,
that
he
was
was a fucking delight, wasn't he?
that was a beautiful Swift and Blake Productions kind of, what's the word? What am I thinking of here? I don't know really, but it was an operation that went very smoothly, very quickly. Didn't cost me a penny. Did it cost you a penny in the end? Did it cost you a penny?
I did not. I've never paid for anything like that.
Is it not a
Yeah,
shekel?
he only
Not a
had to
shekel
point him
involved?
to an independent region, I think. Like, spun him round, took his blindfold off and off, Mao wandered, fucking traipsing along to Morocco, I think it was. It just fucking
Yeah.
randomly vanished, and then turns up in an island like 2 days later, claiming to be an Irish fucking patriot and what have you. Guy's weird, very weird.
Very strange indeed.
Owain
Very-
Mankar is his alt, I think. He might still be in NR.
Who's it all?
The other thing that I wanted to say on the topic of Northern Republic is I am the shit hot MOE, mate. I'm telling you, mate. There is like never ever run out of gold. Tell him, Sean. Tell him.
What?
I'm the shit MOE.
What?
Is
What
it
are you talking
No,
about?
no, what are you talking about? No.
Oh, yeah, mate, I'm pretty sure they've heard it enough from you. I'm pretty sure they don't need me to be telling them shit like that as well.
Jens is here. Jens is here. One second. Let's get him in. So give him the roll. Poddy pod roll. Should I change it to poddy pod or what? Jens.
Sounds like Polly Pockets.
Polly Pockets.
Like,
Poddy,
remember
poddy
those
pod.
toys?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I remember them.
No, I'm pretty sure you had a few, but I mean, do you remember them?
I remember.
Hey, so
I
what
remember.
are you-
I remember my Polly Pockets in detail. The one with the green hair and the one with the blue hair. And
Yeah, I
know
don't
what I'm
remember
saying?
that much.
Yeah, I don't remember that much. I'm
Jesus.
making it up as I go along, mate. Honestly. Shh. Right, moving swiftly on about my, dot obsession when I was younger. So yeah, I'm not cutting in. What do you mean?
He's being polite.
Well, if you want to have a dance, mate, we can have a dance.
All right, let's fucking dance.
Here he is. How you doing, mate? You're right.
I'm alive.
That's
Cheers,
the
comments.
spirit. That's the spirit. I like to hear that.
As good as you can expect.
Yeah, let me just turn you up a little bit because you're still a little bit quiet, mate. How about now? Have a little speak. How you doing?
It's that Belgian
Hello.
McDonald's internet.
Yeah, we should be able to hear you a lot better now because everyone. See, that's the thing. I'm checking levels as we're going along and making sure that everyone's going to be audible and we're at the same kind of levels. So hopefully one person can't be heard over another person and that kind of thing. So yeah, but the reason why I got you to come on quickly, I mean, you haven't got the podcast role because this week I am just hosting with Blake and Sean, but there's always room for you to come on in the future. I love you, bro. You're always welcome, and I appreciated it you coming in last time. So yeah, just stick around because we're all here for you and stuff like that. But what was your first experience with Saxon? What do you remember? What can you tell us about your experiences with Saxon? The Saxon.
I've had a lot of experiences with that boy.
Well, we're not specifically talking about in the bedroom or anything like that. We don't need any love stories. But
There was many of them. I mean, come on, those two.
Um, I, the first one wasn't that like big thing because back when I came on, Saxon was still in the BP. It was all before the stealing money thing and shit. And yeah, he was basically a dickhead back then too. So, um, at one point he even begged fucking Dudley to invade my island because he didn't like me. Like, um, y'all know Merely Dapper, right?
Of course, we know Millie. He's a community
Yeah,
leader
he's
here
now
for
in
us.
our party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
He's an FSP member.
Back when BP was like on the brink of dying, Merely joined me, and it was like a controversy where Saxon asked for money for a party emblem and merely found it online, but like just not with a name added on it. So it was just like, oh yeah, you're fucking stealing this emblem, blah 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 blah. And Saxon went on a whole rage of whatever the fuck, and he wanted to kill my island. And of course, Dudley just said, "Fuck off, mate." And well,
I'm surprised Dudley replied at all, to be honest.
yeah, I am as well. He never
I
replied
mean,
to
that
me.
was an achievement in itself.
yeah, but like Saxon was on the way down at that point already because he was talking to me at one point because I was in his conferences, and he openly admitted to me that he could buy Taiwan, but he didn't want to buy it because he knew that every single enemy of his would attack Taiwan and he would lose it within a week, and that's why he didn't go for it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he also didn't like the fact that King Corn took off like as a thing, and he openly tried to kill it. And yeah,
Didn't he though?
uh, like most of the people know I had a breakdown at that point, and I just like killed it off because why wouldn't I? But to be honest, not a lot of people still talk about Saxon because he's basically dead, and a fair bit of people talk about King Corn boys. Because King Corn has been dead for like 2 months now. So yeah.
What even was King Corn? I saw that briefly pop up and then disappear.
He was a king who would stick it in your cornhole.
Yeah,
Ah.
no. It was a whole meme thing because actually it was basically kickstarted by Prakash because he bought me as a slave boy to like roast people in global chat, and because of the silly ban system, I just um replaced all my curses with corn. So I basically said to people like, "I'm gonna corn you up, boy," and shit like that. And someone just called me King Corn, and I went with it. And I got a following, a fucking religion and shit. People started like demanding a state with me as its king. And at the point where I stopped being King Corn, I was like a day away of actually getting a region on the moon declared independent with me as its state leader.
That's brilliant. That's excellent. So you didn't even pay anyone to do that, no?
No, I had a deal for the region for 3 trillion,
Yeah.
but I didn't pay people to come in my party or whatever. I had like 20 people. They were all like very dedicated to the corn thing. I had a religion, like people really screamed "Hail King Corn" in chat a lot, like to the point where it's like, oh, just shut the fuck up, man. But I loved it. Like some noobs just come in game and hear King Corn and just can't shut up about it. And yeah, I guess I left a mark on this community, boys. So,
Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, I mean, there's
And
definitely a
Saxon
lot.
hated that.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Saxon
thing. Like we
hated
said
it to
earlier, I
death.
bring myself back to the point that anybody who's more influential than Saxon, he will, he will hate, and that's unfortunately the plain
Yeah.
fact of the matter. I think he's
Oh,
a
this
bit he is a
chat.
bit of a hater. I don't know if any for any reason that he would do such a thing. It's not like I don't know. He kind of did have a following and everything, but nobody really liked him. I think they were more doing it out of sort of fear of what he knew and who he knew. Like he was quite, he got on well with BG and stuff like that, and they're quite powerful and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
they probably just kind of feared him for that reason, like associations and things. So I don't actually think that there's anything even remotely sort of influential about Saxon, and definitely not anymore. He's like disappeared off the map completely. Like I don't even know where
Yeah.
he is. Like I think possibly I might have, oh, well, I'm not going to say that because then I'd be admitted something. But no, definitely didn't do anything to him, lads. All right, I definitely didn't do anything to him.
I
No, I
found it
definitely
hilarious
did
when
stuff.
Saxon started offering to travel 7 or 8 hours to come and meet me in a coffee shop because he wanted to sit and have coffee with me.
Oh
What?
yeah, I remember that.
And
Oh,
then he starts
Carl, can you
PMing
give me his
me
profile? Sorry.
and starts PMing me and sending me like this address down in England and stuff. Like, come down and meet me, and this is the house that my uncle gave me to sell after he died or something or other. I'm like, what the fuck? And he starts telling me his real name's Scott and shit. I'm like, I do not care, mate. I do not care in the fucking slightest.
Oh, that dude. I wound up posting his picture in Global as well as his LinkedIn, and he was just like, "Whoa, dude, that's my personal life, not cool." And I was just like, I don't give a fuck.
I seen that. What was it? CEO of like importing vegetables or something. Yet he was telling everyone that he was a fucking travel agent or some crap. Oh.
And then when he first started, he was telling people he was a paraplegic, and it was just like, that
Yeah.
picture you saw of him, he's sitting there on one knee.
Like-
That was not him. There's no fucking way. That it was someone who's just as egotistical looking as what Saxon sounds, but I was not him because Saxon's a fucking female. I'm telling you, Saxon.
Well, I've never
That would
That
explain the
can
mood
be.
swings.
I have never heard him speak, to be honest. So I can't say.
I should
I've
have
never heard him
accepted
speak
because he
either.
wanted to Skype call me. I had a chance because he's like, "What's your Skype? Set up a Skype. Give me your Skype." And I'm like, "I don't even use Skype." And then he starts asking if I use something else. I'm like, "Mate, what the fuck is your obsession?" So I did have chance to speak with Saxon, but unfortunately, I didn't.
Probably wanted to get you on
imagine it.
Ventrilo.
Oh, okay. So this is actually, I'm going to send something in the chat now. This is Saxon's profile. If anyone wanted to take a look at it. I mean, this is more for
It's still shit.
well, if I can bring your attention to the rating place, don't you think that's a little odd? What do you think
Well,
that
that's
might
due
mean?
to being inactive.
Yeah, that's being inactive.
Means he really just doesn't play on that account anymore.
It was last signed in on, was it the 21st of November? I think it says it's.
I thought it was 16th.
Was it 16th or something like that? It was like middle of November or something. He was last on. So.
Can
But
anyone
he's
else,
still not moved out to Novice Island yet.
if you open the image and look at the face on it, if you look really carefully, he's actually cut off some of the face from the picture, and it's only got half a face. So I'm just pointing out that he's got really terrible photo editing skills. And if you need any, things like that made, then there is there is a lot of adverts in the RR advertisement section.
I still have some of
Have
his
you
old
really got a
artwork.
bot that puts your own screenshot up?
Oh
You
yeah, with over a trill in my account. You damn right I have. You damn right I have, buddy.
Oh God!
I'm gonna put it in a nice little fancy box soon too, and then when Solitudo uploads his code and stuff like that, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've done something." Do you know what? That's another thing. Solitudo, right? Did anybody see that article that he posted earlier about a Discord bot that he's writing at the moment? I just want to put it
Yeah.
out there, guys. I just want to put it out there. I want to say to the audience, like, that's jealousy. That's jealousy and envy at its finest. Let me tell you a little story about when he joined my server. Yeah, he came onto my server and he was asking all manner of questions about the bot that I had started writing. You know what? I had an idea and I ran with it. Do you know what? I don't even write in Python. I just picked it up as I went along. Me and Nathan Watson, we just literally spent a bunch of time in the evenings and yeah, that was that basically. it is where it is now. There's a bunch of features that are going to be coming out soon. The bot is in here. So I mean, like for example, let me just give you a quick example.
I do not want to see your mugshot again.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not that example. It's not that example. So there's a bunch of commands that you can use. So it includes new players as well. So if you wanna get your mate in here and he's really new, you can say RR guide newbie, and it'll post out a bunch of links like that. How useful is that? I mean, it's really functional stuff, and it's all to do with the game, and it's to kind of facilitate playing within the game, be there and mess up the channel, which I'm probably going to clear at some point when I get a purge command sorted out. So who else have we got here that wants to tell us their story about the first time they ever kind of come into contact with Saxon? And let's have someone that's got a little bit of history, someone that knows what he was about and stuff like that. So is there anyone else in here that wants
I
to...
think we should get one of his groupies in. I want to hear how they actually got into being one of those follower hanger-ons.
Well, I mean, you got me in here.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, it wasn't quite as interesting as I was expecting to hear, to be honest. I was expecting
I can tell you how we fell out.
And
How did you fall out? How did
you
you fall out?
Okay, so we Chief started because Dementor or Nara, he was looking for governors in Kazakhstan, and Saxon was just like, "Hey, I'll go ahead, I'll vouch for you, blah blah blah," and so I became governor of Almaty. And so what happened was he was just like, "Okay, you guys, Blake, you need to go make your own party, you need to go your own way, yada yada yada," and I was like, "Cool, I can do that." So I left, and I got who's now the bearded journalist. I had him, and then Anubis and Chief, and they were the original 3 members. And so we get there. I'm trying to develop Almaty, and all of a sudden, Dementor in the conference chat, he's just like, "Okay, guys, we're gonna have a presidential republic. If you want to be on the ballot, send me 250 billion." So I'm just sitting there like, that's really, really stupid, because for one, why would I have to pay to be on the ballot if I have a party in Almaty? Like, I'm already going to be on the ballot. 2, why are people going to pay this guy in the first place? We don't trust him. 3, this guy's got multiple accounts. Like, he sat there and played on 7 accounts. Like, I actually posted up an article about it. And so the day came and gone. Jens BBE was a governor there. This dude named Borat was a governor there, which is actually pretty ironic. And some dude who his party tag was like Duke, and I found that very funny. But so the day came and went, and Saxon at this point was very inactive. So I started recruiting a little bit of lore players in there, and I got, who was it? I got Heinrich in there. Eventually we got Jens BBE, which I'm so thankful. Dude's really smart. But so everyone was like, how's that election coming along? And dude just didn't speak on it, but he'd sit there and message us individually saying, "Hey, you want to buy this account?" And so I got a little pissed. So they started fighting with, I think, the Southern Federation. And so us, Chief and Duke, both sat there and was just like, "Okay, we're going to go nuke the shit out of the place." And so we went over, we nuked. I had Alain beginning to message me saying, "You need to stop doing what you're doing. We're allies with them, yada, yada, yada." And I was like, unless you can promise me a governorship somewhere, we're gonna continue doing what we're doing. And Alain was just like, "Well, you can go to Colorado," which was IHR back then, "or you can go so and so." And I was just like, "Nah, dude, like, we're not gonna stop until like we hear something, like, and get something out of this." So a couple days later, Saxon messages me, and he's just like, "Oh, you're gonna do this because you don't agree with your king?" And I was like, "You have no idea what he's been doing." He was just like, "You should still respect his authority," and all this crap. And I was just like, "Huh, okay. I'm gonna listen to the guy who hasn't been on in 2 weeks and is just now, getting on." He told me I'm supposed to go my own way, yet he's still sitting there trying to give me orders. And, like, that's where things started growing a little tense. Then we had a little bit before that, we had the South Carolina coup. And
I remember that.
yeah, dude. Like, we wanted to do it in the dead of night for Americans. And if we had waited a little bit longer, we could have got away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling FSP and their stupid dog. But
FSP.
but so we do that. I jokingly, like, I messaged Meaner and I was just like, yeah, you can pay us $3 trillion and we'll leave. He never paid it.
No,
But
of course he wouldn't, because he knows he'd come back and help him.
He became
Yeah.
an FSP member like the next day after that. Was he not with us for like 2 weeks or something as a member before going back to America, I think?
No, I think that was Weasel,
Oh, you're
wasn't
talking
it?
about Weasel? Yeah, you're talking about Weasel.
Yeah, Weasel was
He
like a
became governor
he
of
was
South
a
Carolina.
governor of South
I might get them
Carolina
mixed
and an
up.
FSP
Oh, well.
for a little while.
Ignore that bit then.
And see, we had timed it to the point where we timed it to the point where, you know, Kansas was fighting Alain, and so I was just like, okay, cool, we can go in. You know, they're gonna be preoccupied with that. If we do this in the dead of the night, we're gonna be good. So we got 250 million damage for, and then FSP came in, and then like 80 or so CAP members came in, and that's just when it all started to fall apart. And I was just like, shit, okay, we lost. It's fine. We were just trying to fuck around anyway. And so Saxon's in the conference, and he's just like, why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't authorize this. And, you know, he was just like, but Canada messaged me and said, thanks for being a diversion. And at that point, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really believe him. So I messaged Alain. I was just like, can you tell me about your relationship with Saxon? He's just like, I don't have a relationship with Saxon. Ever since he's been doing his tricks, you know, every nation has him blacklisted. And I was like, really? Because he makes it seem like you two talk all the time. And apparently they don't. You know, I talk more with Alain than Saxon ever did, apparently.
We've
And
got PMs that pretty much say the same thing.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
basically
so,
a nothing. That no one speaks to him. No one even likes him. He basically tries to pull his way in because he knew a little Russian.
yeah, so, like, you know, I'm noticing all these things, and, you know, one day I realized, you know, Yes No Probably has, I heard that she had like 25 trillion. Saxon told me he had 68 trillion. And I didn't believe him because he would have been on the top 100 list. And he had a little bit of money, but that eventually went to me because I kind of Saxon. But that's another story. So, you know, we're all in the conference. This is the time when he's inactive, and you know, he's dogging out Gents BBE, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh my god, are you serious? You're gonna act like this when you lie to your party members, all that, and you know, you've wound up kicking me. And we got into PMs, and I think I had Bambooski put out an article with all the screenshots of the messages and everything, and I told him, you know, you don't need to lie to your party members. You don't even speak to Alain. And he was just like, oh, I don't, do I? And I was like, no, you don't. I got the screenshots to prove it. And you know how Saxon would do that little thing where he like blacks out part of the messages or something and have people like, okay, so what I did was I blacked out a little part of the message just to, you know, screw with his head a little bit. And I sent him the message that Alain said he had him blacklisted. And, you know, his immediate reaction was, what's the blacked out part? And I was just like, I didn't say anything on it. I just want to fuck with his head. And, you know, he was just like that. Well, that's an accomplishment, you know, to be blacklisted by a world leader. And, you know, look where Alain is now. Thanks, Doth. But so we're just fighting, arguing, yada, yada, yada. And eventually it gets to the point where he's just like, you need to I see you're back in the AF. You don't need to come form. You need to reform and all this. You're already walking in my footsteps, yada yada yada. And I just wound up ending the conversation with and he didn't really appreciate that. So, you know, he called me a failure and all this stuff in the beginning, and you know, I'm the president of the AF, soon to be new United States. So I mean, let's take a step back and look at who the real failure is in this situation. And then that's when he started getting into global, and you know, he was calling Speedo Sam ugly, and you know, Speedo Sam's good-looking guy. Not gonna lie, extra homo. And so I was just like, oh well. I posted the picture of Saxon. And I was just like, this dude looks like he gets rejected by every girl at a rave. And that's when he hit me. He hit me with hey, that's my personal life, not cool. And I just started laughing so hard because this guy, he constantly gives people shit for no reason. But when he starts getting shit and his personal life gets thrown in there, he becomes a little bitch. And we had that big fight in Global. It went to PMs. He kicked me from the conference. Chief hadn't been fucking with him for a couple weeks because of his inactivity, and we were already pre-planning to publicly cut ties with Saxon. But once all that happened, we just kind of went ahead and did it. And yeah, that's how we cut ties with Saxon, because he's a little bitch that, if you're gonna lie in this game, lie to everyone else aside from your party members, because those are the ones that are loyal to you.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and lie to you. Yeah, it's a
I
good
mean,
idea
no,
not to lie
I tell
in
you what. No,
general.
yeah, I was going to say, just don't lie in general. Is probably
Yeah,
good.
but it's just like, if you want to keep your party members loyal, if you want to keep them in your party and all that, just don't lie to them. And I called him out on all that. He didn't have good leadership qualities. He was a little girl about legitimately everything. That's why I can understand if he was actually a woman, because his mood swings were just god awful. And yeah, Chief cut ties with him. We started out as a puppet party, going around and nuking shit, all that. People hated us, but now we got the presidency, and we're actually doing great things for the AF. And I'm just kind of glad people have, there's some people that still think for some reason that I'm Saxon, which, I mean, that's fine and all, but for any of them that's listening still thinks that I'm not. But if you want to keep thinking that, keep thinking that. I'm gonna keep doing me. But yeah, that's basically the small story of Chief.
Why?
Because we want to hear your English accent.
Isn't this technically my English accent?
No, it's your English language with your other accent.
I don't have any other English accent, so what am I?
I mean, I'm from
mahogany,
England.
mahogany. I drink tea every day at 10 a.m.
There we go. All right, wicked cool. All right, you can shut up now. Drop me hard.
Don't censor me.
Don't censor me.
That was underwhelming.
That was very underwhelming. It's a horrible way to end it. You're a horrible little boy, and I'm never letting you come on this podcast again.
Blake was talking about how him and Saxon fell out, and he just had to slap his dick on the table and be like, "Look at me now, fucking president of US. I'm fantastic." just had to get that bit in there.
Well, it's just like, he was the one calling me a failure. He's calling me a failure, but
from story though, like to go completely onto how I'm great and I'm doing this, and then back onto story. It was fucking seamless.
God, I hate the dude. I just hate the dude so much.
Let's be fair. If Saxon has died of a fucking gallstone or whatever the hell it was meant to have been that he was ill with, on his gravestone it is going to say screenshot out of context. Because that was all he would ever say in his defense. It's out of context. It's out of context. Yet he was the master of bringing out of context screenshots into general to try and blackmail and bribe money out of people.
Wow. He just was literally quite all round a bit of a slimy little git, really, wasn't he?
He's a horrible little cunt. He was a fucking school bully victim who came online to try and take his insecurities out on other people. That was Saxon all over. James wants to interrogate me. We'll do that on the next one or another one. We'll get that.
Go on. We'll quickly do a few questions. I'm not sure if Yes No probably is going to join us. She might not. But either way, who has anyone got any questions for any of the people that are able to speak? Being Daddy McWaffle, Blake the Jew, and Sean the Scot, or myself, the host, Swift Killer.
What happened after I left?
Why did I get tagged with the Scot?
It was just the first thing I could think of. I mean, Blake was the Jew. I introduced Jens's new name, and yeah, it's just how it came out.
Carl asked, what happened after I left Lord? The same shit, just less memes, buddy.
So sorry, was aimed at me?
Yeah, I'm lost on
I'm
that
sorry.
one.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are
I
we
don't know
talking
what you're
about?
talking about.
What are we
What
talking
the
about?
fuck are
Carl.
you talking about?
Carl, he asked a question. Carl used to be in Lord. He got kicked out because he was posting too many memes in global chat, and Saxon didn't like that, and so he wound up kicking him. And Carl was just questioning like what happened after he left, and the inevitable downfall of Lord is what happened. Why does everyone call you a Jew? Anonymous asks, and that's because my last name in game is Rosenberg.
By the way, guys, I just want to say, I want to announce that we do have an agreement from Yes No Probably to do our Christmas special. So, yay, let's all say happy Yes No Probably, because that is awesome. I'm actually really happy. I'm pleased. And I really, really hope that you can come on and do that for us, because the thing is, you in the Western community, or whatever anyone wants to call it, in the European community, I think you're probably one of the most influential people around, really. Like, always, all the time, your articles get, a lot of upvotes, and it's not the easiest thing to do. Not everybody gets 1,000 upvotes for an article, but it is good content. That's all I will say. But yeah, moving swiftly on. Excuse my pun there. Does anybody else have any questions at all for any of the speakers before we wrap this up? Is there any plan to deal with New England, Blake?
I can't reveal any sort of plans through to the public, because I mean, anyone can listen to this, including enemies. So yeah.
Jens has asked, where was it? How do
He
citizens
wants a
feel about
breakdown.
monarchy? Well, they voted it through, so I mean, we're obviously in support of it. Breakdown to the lead up of the 7-Day War. That was pretty epic. There wasn't
The
really
war
a
of
breakdown,
attrition.
pretty much. Oh god, that had when me and Zen Alex had been in and out of negotiations with BG for days. I think it actually might have been well over a week, and we would think we were getting somewhere, and then suddenly they would vanish, and a new Russian would pop up and tell us that we needed to tell them the story and explain what was happening. Didn't take us long to realize that they were taking the piss and trying to run us around in circles. And it was actually me who hastily said that if you don't start taking us seriously, we'll go to war for 7 days. And they didn't take us seriously, so we went to war for 7 days. It actually was only 6 days. It was planned for 7, but BG broke after 6. So the 7-day war was a 6-day war that we actually won.
The reason why we won, I mean, you could say that we didn't win because we didn't win any of the actual wars themselves. But if you think about it, the end goal, the end goal was to gain some independence within the British territories.
For democracy.
For democracy, and the thing is, yeah, but that's the thing. Let me just on the defense of that for one moment. I've seen how everything from the birth to the current state of affairs in the Northern Republic, and it's been a bit of up and down. Been a bit of up and down. So my experience is I mean, it was pretty stable for me. I wasn't ever really bothered. I was always given MOE. It was always planned that I'd have that. We had a plan set out, and to be honest, we did exactly what we said in our plans. I don't think any of our plans have gone wrong at all, really. We've done really well to take the land that we have. It did cost us a pretty penny, let me tell you. It really did. Like, I think it was 10 trillion we paid them initially just to get Edinburgh. And then what happened was there was a few guys that tried coming in because they thought, well, we'll just muscle our way in and chuck a couple of parties down and make our mark. But realistically, we had already kind of practiced this. We'd already rehearsed it by moving our party previously a couple of times. So we moved it from originally where it was in Edinburgh. We learned off of the BEP's mistake of leaving their party outside of London, the headquarters, because they
trademark is handing away regions.
Exactly,
It's like their
exactly.
trademark move.
Yeah, it's like as soon as anybody gets any kind of power, they'll give away a region, and then you drop your seats basically because you're no longer part of that. You're no longer part of the country or the nation that you were voting in, or you were in seats in parliament in. And it kind of resets everything, like you never had seats. So it's really, really annoying, but it's a mechanic of the game. And yeah, state, country, state, you know what I mean? It's the same. Yeah. But yeah, the state of affairs now. I mean, we're doing really well. I think Edinburgh today
just hit 10 health.
Yeah, that's good.
When we took Edinburgh, I think it was down at 2 or 3 health. I think
it was nothing. It was like a new state.
We've just hit 10 health today. So I mean, people who want to call us dictators and fucking claim that we push people out and we do what have you. There's been many people I've spoke to in PM, and I've told them there, and I'll tell you all here now that I don't give a shit what your opinion is of me. I will do what's best for my party and my members. That's what comes first. If you don't like the way we do things, then fucking go elsewhere. I don't have time for you to come and fucking cry about something. We're doing what we're doing. We're building the indexes. We're building the levels. We're doing a good job, if you ask me.
Smash FSP.
Yeah,
smash FSP. Grey out.
And I want to give everybody a bit of insight as well, because this is, this will get tagged as tips and tricks as well. So one of the things we did, we pulled a sneaky little one. We referred to it a little bit earlier on, me and Blake, but there's quite a few people here that might not have been here earlier, so I'll bring it up again. But if anybody, of course, we all know who Mao is. He's been in Global so many times. He's always, hated FSP. I don't even know who the guy is personally. Do you know what I think? I think that's Saxon's alt account, but I say everybody's Saxon. To be honest, that's just how I roll. But anyway, the story goes. One day, Blake was invited into a conference with Mao, and what was it? What was it that was said in the conference? Do you remember? Like, was it about a merger? Like the parties were going to merge, maybe?
Yeah.
And you were in there, like saying you were going to help them out.
How it started out was I just wanted to help you guys out because we had bad blood for the longest time, and I just wanted to show y'all that I'm different than I once was. So I messaged Mao, and I was just like, hey, I want to help fund you guys through money and gold, so I could you can take down FSP because they talk nothing but shit about my old party. So I would just want to get back at them, and they added me to the conference, and it was PDA, and then we're gonna merge and try and outvote you guys, and like. I was just like, oh, and what do you plan on doing when you get power? They're like, oh, we're going to develop the indexes, yada, yada, yada. And I was just thinking to myself, Swift told me the other day that they were asking him about development and all that. And I was just like, this is retarded. And eventually it got to the point where I was just asking them just stupid questions. And then I was just like, how does it feel to be infiltrated by FSP? And then Mal was just like, what? You motherfucker. And I was just...
and it gets better. It gets better. Don't get it twisted. I mean, that's just the beginning of the story. That's where a relationship began to flourish in the dark that we didn't tell anyone about, or at least I didn't want to alarm Sean and make him think.
Flourishing in the dark.
Yeah.
I have had no part of this.
Yeah, you did, Sean. You were there. You were there that Sunday. You know what I'm talking about.
It wasn't until like yesterday that I thought fucking Blake and Chief were still trying to stab people in the back. I've got no fucking qualms with telling people that even after this whole fallout in Global, whatever, which by the way I had an essay deadline and I missed that whole fallout. It's like the one that I wasn't on fucking Rival Regions. I missed it.
Yeah.
I was adamant there was still shit going on there. Like I didn't trust Chief at all.
And I think the pinnacle for us, where we kind of, I think it was learning that we are both quite powerful. In the South Carolina war, it kind of made me think that there's a lot more to be gained than there is to be lost from a friendship.
Oh yeah. But real quick, just on the Mao story, I was just thinking to myself, what if I could get Mao locked out of the Northern Republic? How would I go about this? And so I messaged Swift, and I'm just like, hey, dude, I think I'm going to try it. And I messaged Mal, and I'm just like, "Hey man, I'm starting to pay gold workers to come over and mine gold." So, he sends me a work permit. I told him the pay was like 250 billion a day. It's just something ridiculous that any smart player would know that that's just bullshit. But Mal's not really smart.
No,
So
he's
he,
not.
he just sends a work permit, and I was just like, no, damn it, I can't get him. What do I say? And so I was just like, oh yeah, if you send a residency request, I'll make sure that they let you back in because we have an understanding. If you have a residency and you're mining gold, then it gets 16% more gold to the budget.
God almighty.
God, he
And
actually
then
fell for that.
yeah, but no. He was just like, I'll think about it. And then so the next day, I'm just like, hey man, for today only, like I'm bumping it up to 500 billion. Like, but tomorrow it goes down to 100 billion. So you got to do this fast if you really want that money. And so he was just like, I sent the request and I accepted it. And I was like, all right, fly over here real quick. That way I can you can start and I can pay you tomorrow. And he eventually gets over there and starts mining. And he was just like, "So when do I get paid?" And my response was, "When will you realize that I just locked you out of NR?" And he was just like, "What?"
Do you know what? I played a funny little trick on him though, and that was, I didn't lie to him because I don't like lying to people. He said to me, "Oh, can you promise me that you'll let me back into the Northern Republic?" And I was at a really, really tough point. I was like, what do I say to him? What do I say? And I thought, you know what? Right, I'll say to him. I think it was, I I would
I don't
never
make a promise I
oh
keep.
yeah, I would never make a promise that I couldn't keep. And he took my word on that, I believe. And he's said to,
That
yeah, I think
monkey's paw.
yeah, like I think he went and left, and then he come back to me and said, "Oh, can you accept my residency?" So I turned around and I was like, "Sorry, mate, you got to speak to Sean and Malcolm about that." And I just knew exactly what their answer was going to be. So I was like, "Sorry, mate, I'm the MOE. I'm the wrong guy to talk to."
Uh, Poor Mal. I was wanting him to stay in Alabama and just start Rosenberg out because I found that hilarious. We need
It
more
was
memes.
great. It was great. Do you know what? I miss the memes that come through in Global. Yash used to put up loads and loads of memes. I used to love those memes. Like he came out with the first ones that were ever around, I'm pretty sure, and a whole other load of ones. Like I think it was off of one time when I said in Global I'd pay 50 billion for the best meme. He doesn't care about money. I've offered him like money loads of times to make memes, but he doesn't care. He just makes them anyway. But there was some
Oh yeah,
funny
he's a
gifs
great
and some
guy.
funny memes. Like, oh mate, that guy, he's actually such a character. He really is. He's a nice guy. But everybody, I think a lot of people over in the sort of place where he's from, let's say, in India or wherever, Indonesia, I can't remember. They kind of hate on him a little bit, and I don't know why. I don't understand why they hate on him because he is a really nice dude. He is a really nice dude.
I just love how it was like India or Indonesia. They're like fucking thousands of miles apart, but fuck it, we'll just stick them
Yeah, no,
together.
because he's from one of those places. I can't remember where he's from. He was telling me.
I think he's from India.
I think he's
I
from
think he's
India too.
Indian.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
so
pretty sure
too.
he's Indian.
I just wasn't sure. I couldn't remember because they're pretty close, like named is what it was. Not so much how close they are geographically, but that would have been pretty funny. So I'll take that one on the chin. So what time is it? It's like 10:30. I'm pretty sure that's
Half
like an
10, yeah.
pretty sure that's like an hour and a half, isn't it? I mean, we might have been like 10 minutes late. Will my
We'll
amazing break
just name
in?
this the Saxon NR podcast.
Do you know what, Stoicky? I
Hold on.
might just do that. I think I might just be able to include that.
Oh, right, I need to jump off a second. That's my little one up, so I'll be
Well,
back
there
in
we
a
go.
sec if you're
That's
still
all right. It's
about.
all right, mate. We're gonna kill it off now anyway. So if you want to go and chill
No
out
worries.
and relax, thank you very much for coming on, Sean, mate. It's always a
No
pleasure to
problem.
talk
Been a
to you.
pleasure.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. All right, buddy. Well,
We'll
we'll
be
speak
back
to you soon.
when we don't have to talk about Saxon, though. We'll get a
Yeah,
decent topic on the go.
we'll get a Northern Republic one going, mate. Definitely for
That's
sure.
one. I'll catch you all later. Have a good evening.
Yeah, later,
See
Sean,
you,
mate.
bud.
Cheers, buddy.
See you.
All right. So, Blake, is there anything else? I mean, is there anything else we can go through? I mean, the last one was kind of cut short because it was on a Monday and work and all that kind of stuff. I was tired, but I mean, we can go for a little bit longer because I can, prepare and spend a little bit more time in editing and things like that. So, what do you think to what else is there? Anything we can talk about? I mean, we've taken a lot of questions. And...
Well, okay. Well, I will talk about this real quick. The Alexander Block is pissed off. They're very pissed off at the AF because we just consolidated American Empire.
Oh no.
So I asked old what's his name? Old Barb, Daddy McWaffle over there, like who would I have to talk to? So I guess he threw a question up, or he threw something up in the Alexander Block conference, and he was just saying Blake Rosenberg of the AF wants to talk to whoever, he wants to know who he can get in contact with to talk about the thing. Okay, it was VK chat, never mind. But so this guy, he just messages me, and he's just like, he repeats what Barb said, and then he asked me, oh, so you want to join the Alexander Block? And I immediately hit him with, no, I just want to talk about this consolidation. And he hasn't replied back to me. I guess he just really wants us in it. But, the AF is in the Dom Union Block currently, and Alexander Block was, they don't like each other. They just don't like each other. But here's the thing. I don't think Alexander Block can exactly, afford a war right now because Dom Union also has the European backing them, and who really wants to go up against a bunch of Turks at this point? Like after what just happened with Doha. And so yeah, that's what I'm currently dealing with. I'm trying to talk to the Alexander Block, see if they'll chill out a little bit. I mean, we just took I think 9 regions from them and threw them in the Dom Union. So,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
that's
So
going
they're
on.
well. What are they so annoyed about? I mean, it's not like they get anything from having regions in their block, do they?
I don't know, but they're just. Let's see. Let's look. I'm pretty sure there's only. There's just one small country that's currently in the Alexander Block. Let me see if I can remember the name. I think they only got in it because that's the only block they'll accept. Yeah, it's called Curacao, and it's. Do you remember who owns Curacao? Wasn't it Barbarossa?
I think it was Barbarossa or Jens or McDaddy Waffles and whoever else he wants to be on the day. Like, I don't know, dude. He's changed his name so many times. You should still have permissions to talk, though, dude. So it's
Oh my
still
god.
get involved, man. Still get involved.
No, I was just making a joke because you didn't know that it was the same person.
I know. It was. Trav wants to have a quick talk about Saxon. All right. Okay. We'll do that. We'll do that.
Trav's got a great story about how Saxon made him a little bit rich one night.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm definitely interested in that podcaster. There we go. Trav, are you there?
You guys.
Hey, man, just give me 2 seconds. Let me turn your levels up real quick because I turned you down. Trav?
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. Speak nice and clear, mate. But what's your story? Tell us your story.
It was a dark and stormy night. Let's see. I was a new player. I think I'd probably been playing like about 2 weeks. I was in Hades Parliament because I left America about 4 or 5 days into the Great American War. I was just a new player. No one really cared. But I was up. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. Don't really remember what I was doing. But Blake and Blake were just going at it. Don't really know exactly what they were talking about, but I remember Blake was saying something about good luck fighting cancer and all this shit. And me being the new the noob I was like, oh well, yeah, you gotta kind of know where to draw the line. Him having cancer. I don't really know if he has cancer.
No, definitely. I don't like if he doesn't, then he's even more of a scumbag. But like it kind of that's the thing. I don't want to be seem sort of
condescending.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no,
like I don't want to hate on him if he
that-
genuinely does have some,
The reason I say that is because I called the hospital he was apparently at, and they didn't have that room number he was talking about, and they didn't have a Scott Saxon in there.
Oh, okay. I mean
Like, I
that's
paid for
different.
long distance calling.
Wow. Wow, you actually checked on the guy for real?
Oh yeah. I wanted to check on him. I thought he was my friend and all that shit.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
apparently
No, that's
not. He's
respectable.
got to
No,
lie
definitely
about
it's
every fucking thing.
Yeah, no, that's
All right, keep going,
despicable, mate.
Trav.
That's despicable. Sorry, Trav, carry on, mate.
But oh, I'm sorry, you guys just kind of
Butted
lost
in.
your shit. But I guess he felt a bit sympathetic or whatever. So he started this money thing in the chat, and it was like whoever can donate the most money to Trav gets 1 trillion, right? And so I don't remember how it started off. I think it started off with like people donating like $1 or something, and then eventually it went higher because Masked Reaper, he put in about 25 and then like 50, so it made him like 75 billion. And then a few other people did it too. But the big doozy for me is like one that just kind of cracks me up even now. Bowser actually put in $250 billion, so he put 250 billion in the pot.
Poor Bowser.
Poor Bowser, dude.
Poor guy.
But
that Bowser's a pretty cool guy. He's pretty influential, right? We should get him on one day. Surely.
Bowser's fucking awesome. Fucking love it. I mean, he's a great guy. But okay, this isn't about Bowser. So Saxon, he messages me and he says, "Okay, tell them in chat that I sent you 1 trillion, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't see why not. He just made me like hundreds of billions of dollars, so what the." So I went ahead and I said, "Whoa, Saxon just sent me 1 trillion. Holy shit!" And people just they kind of lost. They were like, "Oh," okay. And they kind of just realized, he was just fucking with them.
Yeah.
I'm Saxon. I don't even think he had 1 trillion at that point, to be honest. Like thinking back, and even looking at his donations, they're pretty horrible.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Like the thing is, he was always bleating on about us, saying, "Oh yeah, you guys need to put the money into the budget and all that kind of stuff." Like I kind of get what he was talking about now, but even still, like FSP would put money down on the table if the like for example when if ever the indexes were to drop too low or something. We'd have to go in there and make sure that they get raised up again from 2 to 3 at the very least, if not what we did, which was get it up to 6, so we didn't have to worry about it decaying so rapidly, kind of thing.
I completely agree with that because as governor, whenever I came into Tennessee, like, holy shit, dude, like, it was horrible. See, at first I think it was some guy in Doth had resigned, and then there was Sam, who's now an FCR, and then there was Chaz, who's I think maybe an FCR now.
Chaz.
Good old Chaz, man. It was a shitstorm, dude. Like, Blake helped me out. Luna, No Scent helped me out. A lot of people helped out. I was just reaching out. I really didn't do it on my own. And I try to make that really clear. That it was me probably about, and all the donations in total of my own money, maybe around like 18 to 20 was mine, and I was going all in, but just the sheer amount of help that I got is incredible. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, people, you have to put shit down if you want. You can't, like, I was reading this. Okay, let me just get back to have this issue. I can't stay on topic.
It's all right. We can do this. That's what podcasts are about. I can edit some of it out anyway. Don't worry about it, dude. Just relax and say what you need to say.
But people have to help out.
Say what you gotta say. Sorry, I've got a terrible singing voice. Don't.
If you're not helping, if you don't put anything down and shit goes to hell, then you just kind of need to shut the fuck up because it's kind of your fault.
Yeah, definitely. There's a point at which where you've kind of you've had your go, and now everybody hates you, so just shut up. Basically, do you know what I mean? I don't mean like Saxon is in like
Like me and Blake, we were talking about that shit last night. Who the fuck writes an article about donating $200 billion, dude? Like, who gives a shit, man? Guys, I just put 200 billion in the budget, and I mean, me being a new player, I was like, holy shit, you put 200 billion in the budget?
What?
Wow.
That was today.
No, I'm talking about
Back in the
Saxon.
past. Back in the day.
Yeah, back when America was just about to get fucked. Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. But now I'm like, dude, I make that shit in like a day, you know? It doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I can, if I were to give someone like 70-80 billion dollars, I don't really care, because I know that like the day after I'll have it all back. You know,
yeah, for sure. It doesn't take long. Like, it really doesn't take long. It depends how you play the game, but there's, we can go into that on another day, how to play the game, how to make money. Maybe we can do like a little new player podcast in a couple of weeks' time or something, can get loads of people on, and, we'll get it all properly arranged.
My tricks.
Oh, I'm not going to reveal. I'm not going to reveal all my tricks, man.
No, you got to keep some of them. You got to keep some of them.
There's still some you got to keep to yourself, just so you have the edge,